Hey everyone, Andrea Caprio here. I'm here with my weekly video, and today I want to share with you 4 common reasons why you crave sugar and how to beat it. Now, I think that's the most common question I'm getting from my clients or when people contact me is, hey Andrea, I want to eat healthier, but how do I overcome sugar cravings? I've tried everything and I just don't have the willpower. And I've got news for you because you don't need willpower. It's so overrated. It's so old school. Willpower is more or less the one thing you actually don't need to overcome cravings or, to overcome emotional eating or even for weight loss. It's really not about willpower. There are a couple of things I'm going to share them with you today that help actually to make it easier. So you don't need willpower and it becomes easy and you can actually win at cravings. Because in the end, the problem with all this is that you are able, and most of us are able, to keep our cravings at bay for a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. But then what happens after? You get stressed, you have drama happening or whatever it is, and all your willpower is gone down to the drain because we have only that much willpower. Some have a little bit more, some a little bit less, but eventually, willpower is just something that fizzles out and we don't have it anymore. And that's usually then when we binge eat or we fall back on whatever we try to stop. And that goes, by the way, not only for sugar, it's also very often to do with other cravings. So it can be salty cravings, let's say chips or things like that. So this crunchiness very often I see. And it can also be with all kind of cravings, which I call carb cravings. So there would be the pasta, the pizza, all these kind of things. And also, by the way, things like cheese. We crave cheese. Cheese or dairy rather is one of the most addictive things after sugar, I would say. But sugar definitely is on the top. Sugar is more addictive than heroin or cocaine combined, I would think. So it's definitely something where willpower does not help with addiction. I'm sure we all know that. Now I'm going to share with you the 4 most common reasons actually why you crave sugar, and for each of them I will give you some ideas on how to overcome, and at the end I will share a little gift with you, so stay until the end because you don't want to miss that, because it's really, really helpful. It's something you might not have heard actually that helps also with cravings. Let's start. But before that, just a quick hello to also those who are joining just now or who are watching the replay. My name is Andrea Caprio. I'm the owner and founder of Wellness Methods. I'm really passionate about emotional eating and helping people to overcome. I realized in my years of practice and working with people, a lot of people come with health issues, chronic diseases, no matter if it's diabetes or any cardiovascular diseases or digestive disorders. Very often clients come with hormonal issues. I do work a lot with women as well who have, issues. I'm menopausal, so around menopause or other hormonal issues. And I always find that it goes back actually to that they're having issues with cravings or not being able to eat actually the food they should be eating, because most of my clients are very well educated, and probably you are as well, and actually what you should be eating, but it's not that easy. And I know that, and that's why I became so passionate about and really drilled down in specializing helping people to overcome emotional eating cravings, and that helps them, of course, with their weight loss as well, which is usually the number one point people come to see me, because they've tried everything, they've tried every diet on this planet and nothing helps. They've seen doctors and tried the diet pills or whatever, nothing helps. And I'm kind of the last resort, and I do help them because I really go onto the root cause of why the cravings are here. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So take note, put all the distractions away, and get something to write it down. And of course, if you would like to dive deeper, please feel free to contact me. Also, if you have any questions, there is comments, so you can type them. I will get back to you, promised. Even after, if you watch the replay, I do check my comments here. And of course, if you think somebody needs that, please do share that video with them, or share it on your timeline or with them in a private message or so. I think it can help a couple of people. So that's it. Now let's start with reason number one, why you are actually craving sugar and how to beat it. Now, the reason number one is the gut bacteria. Now, the gut bacteria, you probably have heard, because recently, fortunately, it has really gained some really attention, and a lot of people have realized how important the gut bacteria is. And I want to make it just quite simple, is we have bad and good gut bacteria, and I'm always struggling with this word. It's so funny. The good bacteria is, of course, there. It helps your gut to really function properly. But the bad bacteria usually is not having so good functions in there, and especially it increases as we eat more unhealthy food. That's one of the reasons. There are a couple of other reasons, but the bad bacteria actually feeds on sugar and carbohydrates. So the more sugar and carbohydrates, like pasta and pizza carbohydrates you're eating, actually, the more the bad bacteria will increase, because they want this food and they will say, hey, they're like little gremlins and say, give me more, give me more. And that's actually what sends signals to your brain and says, feed me the sugar. And when I say sugar, I always mean sugar or, refined or processed food, refined carbohydrates and processed foods. So that's what they're feeding on, and that's what they want more of. So as you have more bad gut bacteria, the more you will crave sugar. So the trick is, of course, to eliminate or lower, because you cannot eliminate it, it's not possible, but to lower the ratio of the bad bacteria towards the good bacteria. Now, how can you increase the good bacteria and how can you decrease the bad bacteria? Very simple. The bad bacteria, obviously, you can decrease by not feeding them sugar. It's initially a bit difficult, but by lowering slowly the amount of sugar and refined carbohydrates you eat, it's already helpful. And I will show you a couple of tips later on how to do that, actually. But the important part is they're actually, rather, instead of forbidding you to eat sugar or something like that, is really increasing the good food for the good bacteria. Now, the good bacteria feeds on fermented food, for example. You've heard perhaps of probiotics. Probiotics are found in fermented foods. And that would be things like sauerkraut or kimchi, all these fermented foods, even yogurt or kefir or kombucha, they all have the good bacteria in there. They have the probiotics in there, and the probiotics feed actually the good bacteria. And then slowly, as you increase the amount of food you're feeding them, then, they increase as well, and they decrease the bad bacteria. And that's a very helpful tip, actually, to reverse the ratio of the bad bacteria to the good bacteria. Also, prebiotics are important, and that you find mostly in fiber. And fiber you find a lot in all kind of vegetables, especially things like cabbage or broccoli. You find it as well in Jerusalem. Artichokes have really a lot of sources of prebiotics, and all these are feeding the good bacteria, and that's what you want. Let's move on to the next one, and that's that your blood sugar and your hormones are very much playing a role in your sugar cravings. Now, the blood sugar usually increases when you eat sugar. I mentioned perhaps a little bit already, the more sugar you eat, the worse it gets. So that's a little bit the issue here. And while you increase by eating sugar or refined carbs, you increase the blood sugar, and that affects your hormones. It affects your cortisol level. And when you affect somehow one hormone, the other hormones tend to be affected as well. And the hormones have various functions in your body. Of course, there's more sexual hormones, but they are also like the hunger hormones or the satiety hormones. And those play, of course, a role in your sugar cravings or in cravings in general, and the amount of food you're eating. So there, it's really, really important that to keep the blood sugar as stable as possible, and also to have balanced hormones. And of course, you do that with healthy eatings. As well, in that are affected your neurotransmitters. serotonin, dopamine, and many others. Now, that has a lot to do with your mood, and I'm going to get into the mood just now, but bear with me. So it's very important that all these are equally looked at. And the serotonin, just to give you an idea, to come back to the gut, is, by the way, produced 70% of the serotonin actually is produced in your gut. And that's why it's so important to eat healthy. And like I earlier mentioned, to improve the good bacteria, because that will improve the serotonin production, and that makes you more relaxed, happier, and so on and so on. So you see all this, how that fits together, and I'm passionate about, as you probably noticed. So I will make it a little bit short and easy. Now, how can you make sure that you have a more stable blood sugar and your hormones and neurotransmitters are more balanced and happier? Actually, quite easy. There are three main components you should eat more of. One is fiber. I mentioned already fiber earlier, and I will go back, but fiber is one of the big things we are eating not enough. Ideally, an adult should eat between 35 to 50 grams of fiber, depending, female, male, and height and all that. The average American eats under 10 grams. I just say that again. One should ideally eat between 35 grams to 50 grams of fiber a day. The average American eats less than 10 grams of fiber. Yes, I hope you took note of that. So increase your fiber is super important. Fiber is in vegetable, so have lots of vegetable, especially the green vegetable, but also you can find it in things like beans, for example. There's lots of fiber as well. So add more fiber to your diet. The next point to help your blood sugar to be more balanced and help with your hormones as well is to eat more protein. And that's super important with your digestion. Healthy proteins, of course, that could be animal protein, but rather grass-fed beef, cage-free eggs, cage-free hens or chicken rather. And as well, you can eat fish, but make it wild-caught fish. And then, of course, plant protein is usually a better choice even. And there could be, again, beans, for example, is really good. Beans, lentils, chickpeas or so, hemp seeds, all these have great protein contents. And the third part within that would be healthy fat. And that's also super important. And all these give really the fuel to your body to function on them. And it gives a better blood sugar, and it affects your hormones in a better way. And this is really helping you with sugar cravings. And the healthy fats, for example, avocado is really a great healthy fat. Otherwise, nuts, seeds, olive oil is also really great. So a lot of really healthy possibilities of helping you to balance your blood sugar, keep it more leveled, and help you with your hormones and your neurotransmitters. And that in change helps, of course, with your sugar cravings. So I hope so far that is helpful. So this was tip number 2. I'm still continuing. So you're learning a little bit more today. If you have any questions, please do type them in the comments. And remember, I will share with you something in the end. So stay tuned. So the next point is your toxins. Now, toxins are very much also part of the sugar cravings equation. When you have too many toxins, it actually increases your cravings because the toxins bind to your fat. And when your fat is not able to absorb or to use rather the food you're eating and the nutrients of it, then it will ask for more and more, and that very often ends in cravings. And if your liver through the toxins is just overloaded, again, it affects also your hormones very much, and I mentioned that earlier, it affects your cravings. So you definitely want to look into toxins, and if you have too many. And let's face it, nowadays we do have toxin overloads from the food we are eating, from the environment, the products we put on our skin, and so on and so on. So it might be a time to look and doing a detox, or looking perhaps if you have even food intolerances, because that might also be the toxins in your body that add to it. So look for it, and eventually you might want to contact somebody like me, a nutrition coach, to help you with really a healthy detox. Please don't do any cheap detox out there starving you. Take a detox that respects the 3 phases and that also nourishes your body. Very important. If you want to know more, please let me know, and I'm happy to share that with you. And then number 4 is that very often instead of the food, the craving, we are actually craving something else. And that for me is probably the most important part. Now, it might be we just crave a glass of water, and I'm actually going to drink now because I realized through the talking I'm craving. No, I'm not craving, but hydration or dehydration rather is perhaps something that you're craving. So start with drinking a water. Look into what you really actually at that moment crave. Very often it has to do with stress, but also very often I find with boredom, actually, very often I see people when they come home and, their whole day they were busy and they come home, what do? They grab whatever the food is, the sugary thing, the ice cream, whatever it is. It's sort of a little bit boredom or to find something else to do because they might suddenly have no purpose. And purpose is one of the big things I find that many of my clients who come to me, actually, I realize they lack a purpose. And when you don't have a purpose, then you look for something and you look in food. It could also be alcohol or drugs or something like that. So very often when we are missing something in our life, we look for something else. And in this case is the craving, the sugar or whatever the food it is. Now, it is of course important to find out what is the purpose. This can require a little bit more deeper work, and that's something I'm passionate working with clients about. And if you would like to dive deeper into that, please do contact me. I'm very happy. We can talk through and I can give you a little bit a way forward on that. But finding out what is the real deep emotion. Is it some trauma? Have we been told during our childhood, that we are not valuable, worthy, and we were put in a corner with a bag of chips or something like that. And that's why whenever we feel a little bit down, we grab the chips because that is at least something was the way where we felt loved, because chips are just there when we don't feel loved. So, there's something deeper down, and that's really something to find out what's the root cause. Can be also, of course, physical root causes, but very often the emotions are sitting there, and I love working on that. So look into what are the real root causes, what are the triggers as well. You might have a trigger every time you sit in front of the TV, you crave the ice cream. So maybe stop watching the TV altogether. Might be a good thing. You can do definitely something better with your time, or find something healthy that helps you with it. Very often also, it's quite interesting, is we crave only over 90 seconds. Some say 30. I believe it's about 90 seconds or so. So find something to do during those 90 seconds that makes you actually forget that you craved food in the first place. So get busy, call a friend, go for a walk, do some puzzle or whatever it is, find something that helps you to overcome. And very often it's also, it's laziness, we kind of want something healthy, but it's something easy in the fridge. So we grab the easy thing. That's not necessarily the healthiest thing. So make sure you plan for it and make sure you have always something ready that's healthy that you can grab instead of eating the unhealthy thing. And then the last point is practice mindful eating. And here comes my little mindful eating formula that I want to introduce to you. So practicing mindful eating is really something to eat in the moment, be in the moment, not be on your cell phone, on your computer while you're eating, but really appreciate the food. And I want to share with you my mindful eating formula, and you can download it. It's my little free gift for you, and I'm also going to share it. It's in the description, and I'm going to share it also here again in the comments. So you can download it, and that shows you lots of tips how to overcome cravings, but also how to practice mindful eating. And that is really something very powerful. So have a look at it, and please do share this with your friends. And I just want to remind you, or just summarize the 4 common reasons why you crave sugar and how to beat it, which have nothing to do with willpower. So the first one is that your gut bacteria might be not right. So you want to increase the good gut bacteria. And if you're just watching the replay, or if you're just watching, perhaps you want to go back and watch the replay. So I'll tell you all how to overcome it actually. So the gut bacteria you want to look into. You want to look into your blood sugar and how to balance your blood sugar. So your hormones and your neurotransmitters are more balanced. Then you want to look into the toxins and how to do a detox. And then you want to see what you're really craving, what you're really hungry for. And that might be stress, boredom, thirst, or whatever it is. And of course, you want to dig deeper or find some things to overcome. I hope that was valuable for you. Please do type in the comments your best takeaway, which tip you liked more, and what you're going to do actually. What are you going to do to implement so you can overcome your cravings once and for all? And remember to download my mindful eating formula here. The link is just here, and share this with other people who are in need. Share it on your timeline or wherever you want. It's definitely helping some other people to overcome sugar cravings once and for all. And for those who want some more help, please do comment and I will get back to you, and then I can help you at an individual level. Would love to. It's Andrea Caprio. I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you join me. I'm trying to do these little videos once a week, so join me next week, or just let me know and I can always send you a personalized invitation. Take good care and see you soon. Bye bye.